JJ McCarthy having his third straight 30 touchdown game, and the defense coming alive. And hey there, and welcome back to the mini weekend. I'm your host, Jack. Let's get into it, man. That is very good. Drink of the podcast. What do we go with tonight? We went with another Northern Soda Co. drink. This one is their special cherry lemon lime. It's their holiday soda tradition soda. That's what the can looks like. Super sweet, really cool. Regardless of how I feel about this and what I'm going to come at you guys with, the holiday season, essentially a week away from the Christmas, you guys got to go out, get one of these, try it this weekend before the holidays hit, and it's not going to disappoint. It's not going to disappoint. So for some of the newer listeners, we've been getting quite a bit of new followers on Instagram and TikTok. Views on most of our videos on YouTube have been going up. Love to see some of you guys subscribe, ask more questions, and like I've mentioned, if you comment on the videos, just anything, I'll reach out to you personally and send you a free sticker. So there is that. But yeah, so for some of our new viewers that may be new here, what is Northern Soda Co? Northern Soda Co is a Twin Cities based craft brewing company specializing in like 19th styles sodas, and they use real sugar and premium ingredients in all of their sodas. And for those that are interested, they are actually located in New Brighton, right off of, what is that? Highway 35U and is that County Road D West, and it's kind of tucked behind, like right off almost that frontage road of 68 there in that warehouse district. So go check them out. Like I said, I personally have been there once. I need to get out there more, get more of this stuff. But yeah, really cool, really awesome establishment. Like I said, we specialize and love shouting out local businesses and local sodas and things of that nature on the podcast as well. So go check them out, northernsoda.com, and they have lots of really fun stuff coming up. They had bingo earlier tonight. They have a Taylor Swift party from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday, December 20th. If you are interested, they also at the same time from noon to 6, they have a create your own friendship bracelet thing going on. From 2:30 to 4:30, they have a Swift Miss cookie decorating class. And then they have their soda sample frenzy the Friday after Christmas, the 26th. From 4 to 8. So they always got stuff going on, regardless of the time of the year, regardless of how cold it is, regardless of how warm it is. For those that are interested, we will let you know when it opens up. But they have some fun games and cornhole and stuff that they put in some areas of the parking lot when it's nice out too. So yeah, you guys will not be disappointed. They have all sorts of stuff. They have like a bar top area that you can get the soda straight from the tap, which is pretty cool. They have a couple of arcade games. They have decks of cards, board games for days, merch that you can get, and then you can actually customize your own 6 or 24 packs. And then for those that are interested, that have been there before, that want to get more, that maybe don't always want to go back in, you can now go online to their website, northernsodaco.com, and you can order them online and have them delivered to you as well, which is really, really cool. So yeah, definitely urge you guys to go check them out. They're also all over Facebook, or are all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So go check them out, go show them some love. The interesting part about them is that they have some unique hours. So they are usually only open Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. Thursdays and Fridays are typically, 4 to 8. Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then Sundays, noon to 6. So go check them out. Go show them some love. So without further ado, this is really, really good. I hope that this is a flavor that you can get year round. For those that do know me, I do love cherry. And it's a cherry lemon lime. And I was a little afraid it was going to essentially be like a cherry Sprite or cherry 7-Up. And it is far from that. You definitely get a lemon lime taste, but it doesn't taste like a Sprite or a Sierra Mist, anything like that. It's kind of almost like its own standalone flavor. You almost get that like cherry taste as it hits your tongue, and more that lemon lime as like an aftertaste, which complement themselves so beautifully. This one is a little bit thinner. There we go. A little bit thinner of a soda. from them. For those that are interested, they do have a lot of other great flavors that you should go onto the website and check out. But some of them are a little bit thicker. So I do like to note that out because I know some people are particular about that. So that is what I think about that one. I really like this. I'm gonna go 9-3. I think other than some of their staples like their root beers, their cola, their Sunday punch, or their Sunday purple, and their orange, this has to be one of their top flavors in my opinion. For those that have tried this, let me know what you guys think of it. That is what we have for Northern Soda Co. Now moving on to Tommytown. We don't have a ton of news for you guys tonight as most of the teams, especially the hockey teams, are on their holiday break currently. But the St. Thomas men's team picked up a series sweep this last weekend of the Northern Michigan Wildcats, dispatching of them 2-0 with a shutout on the 12th before taking care of them 4-3 on Saturday. They will next be in action on January 2nd and 3rd, at the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena against the Ferris State Bulldogs. But yeah, we did have one accolade to talk about. So it was announced just a couple days ago on the 15th that Tommy captain Lucas Wallen earned CCHA Forward of the Week honor. It was only a matter of time. It took a 3-goal weekend in a road series sweep of the Wildcats, but the conference all-time leader in point is now the CCHA Forward of the Week. He scored his 10th and 11th goals on Friday in the Tommies' 2-0 win over the Wildcats and added his 12th of the season with just over 1 second remaining in regulation in their 4-3 win on Saturday. The Woodbury native is now tied for the team lead in goals with second in points, with 18. And it's interesting, 11 of his 12 goals have come either shorthanded or at even strengths, which is the most amongst CCHA skaters. And he's only the second Tommy to receive Forward of the Week honors this season. Alex Gaffney, and the 8th to earn any weekly honor this year. So a huge congratulations to him on that. Yeah, like I mentioned, they picked up the 2-0 win over the Wildcats, and it was Carson Muser that picked up the 29 save shutout, which was pretty awesome. So the team now will head into the new season, the new year in 2026 with a 9-7-3 overall record, sitting at 6-3-2 in the conference. And at the year end of 2020, 19 games in, I thought we'd really quickly just kind of look at their stats. So both Alex Gaffney and Lucas Wallen are actually tied for the lead with 12 goals. Lucas Van Vliet has 7, Jake Brianchi has 6, and Nathan Pilling rounds out the top 5 with 5 goals. For points, Alex Gaffney leads the way with 22, Lucas Wallen right behind him with 18, Van Vliet with 16, Chase Cheslock with 15 points, and Nathan Pilling with 13 points. So nice to see, and then on top of that, those are top 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 players currently on the team with at least 10 double-digit points, which is pretty awesome to see. And then on the other side of things, and a goals against average goes to Will Ingeman, who has a 2.56 average. So yeah, like I mentioned, the men will be back in action on January 2nd and 3rd to take on the Ferris State Bulldogs. So that is what we have for the men's team. And then for the women's team, not really any news. For the women's team, they will be back in action on that following weekend, the weekend of January 9th and 10th at home as well, with a series against the Bemidji State Beavers. But just like the men's team, I thought we'd look at their stats as well. But Riley Bartz is sitting in a league of her own with the only player on the team with double-digit points. Chloe Boreen's not far behind with 7. And then Isla Lindemann has 6. And Ella House and Whitney Horton are both tied and both have 5 goals apiece. And then sitting in points, Riley Bartz right away first with 20 points. Ella Berger right behind her with 18. And then Isla Lindemann and Ella House with 14 apiece. And Chloe Boreen and Madison Brown with 13 apiece. So really awesome to see this team kind of getting, sharing the puck and making, this team not necessarily one-dimensional. And then very similar to the men's team, they've actually kind of gone back and forth between three goalies: Danny Strom, Nora Hannon, and Julia Minotti. But clearly Julia Minotti has been seeing most of the action with her 7-11 record. She actually holds the save percentage with .903, the goals against average. So holding it down between the pipes, and can't wait to see them back in action. Gotta get out to see another hockey game between the men and women's teams in 2026. And the first thing I thought we'd talk about for the men's basketball team, the Tommies earlier this week, they cruised past UNC Asheville for Coach John Towers' 3-win, which is a huge accomplishment for him. The win over Asheville on the 16th gave him his 300th win of his career, following in the footsteps of the most recent predecessors. Steve Fritz had 592 wins, and then Tom Feely 217 wins. Howard, it says, is one of 15 active head coaches amongst all NCAA Divisions 1 through Divisions 3, and one of 5 in Division 1 with 300 career wins and a winning percentage of at least .730. So a huge congratulations to him on this one. And if you didn't already guess, yes, Nolan Minisale finished with another 20-point game, 23 points to be exact. But yeah, the men's basketball team, they were in action twice this last week to be exact, and both coming away with blowout wins. The first one coming at the hands of the old rivalry, the Tommy Johnny rivalry against St. John. At home, they defeated them by a score of 80-56, and they really kind of started to pull away in the second half, and proving that they made the right decision by moving up to D1. Going into halftime, they were only leading by 4 points. Once again, 30 points from Nolan Minisale to go with 11 rebounds, 3 assists. Kid is on something. And then 2 days later, they were in UNC Asheville to take care of business against them. That game was a little bit more lopsided at the beginning, 46-25 lead into halftime. But yeah, the main thing, the team right now, they currently have one more game. They'll have a game this upcoming Saturday, the 20th, before they will be off for about a week for the holidays. They will take on UC Riverside at the Lee and Penny Anderson Arena. So excited for that. Still got to get out and see a basketball game myself. But the only other thing that wanted to talk about and bring up, is Nolan Minisale. He nabs a weekly conference honor yet again. The sophomore guard earns the 4th Summit League Quick Star Peak Performer of the Week award. He recorded his second 30-point game of the season, the first instance for the program during the Division I era, and is an average 26.5 points per game on 70.4% shooting as he led the Tommies 2-0 this last week. It's just insane. He's playing out of his mind right now. It's huge to see. It's huge, big congratulations to him. But also that it was announced just earlier today that he was named to the Lou Henson Award early season watch list. What is that, you might ask? Well, first of all, the sophomore guard is leading the NCAA Division I total points behind nation best 11 20-point games. But where is it? Let's see. It says, sorry, I'm trying to understand what this is. It says the recipient of this annual award is determined by a 10-member voting committee, which consists of current and former head coaches, as well as 2 senior staff members of collegeinsider.com. The winner will be announced at Indianapolis, Indiana, and the site of the men's D1 basketball championship. So yeah, they don't do a great job of telling you exactly what this is, but it's truly an honor anytime you're being looked at. It just says it's presented annually to the top player in Division I college basketball. It's weird because I've never really heard of this award, but you hear about like the James Naismith Award and all that kind of stuff too. So hats off to him. A huge congratulations for playing his tail off. If that's not good enough, just as of recently, the kid right now is currently averaging 22 points per game. 22 points per game on, 56% shooting from the field and just under 30% shooting from 3-point range. So if he can bump up that 3-point percentage just a little bit, yikes, watch out. And then for the women's basketball team, not a ton of new news for the women's team, but they were in action a couple times this last week as well, 2 times as well to be exact. They took down Crown in a big win, 112-23, and then 70-50 over Drake on Saturday the 13th. Those 2 wins now put them at a perfect 6-6 on the year. Both men's and women's teams have yet to play any conference games. And they're currently riding a 5-game win streak, so that's really awesome for them. They have one more game this week, the Sunday the 21st, before they're off for 8 days as well for the holiday break. And their game will be against the University of Northern Iowa in Shennecker Arena, in Lee and Penny Anderson Arena. So watch out for that game. And then now we are to our college football time. I had a couple of you guys reach out saying, despite, for lack of a better word, saying despite how shitty what my underdog parlay was for you guys, that I should do more parlay bets. I got some of those requests a little bit later than I would have liked, so I will definitely keep that in mind going forward for you guys. But what I did this week was I got 4 picks for you guys college football wise for the college football playoffs first round games. With the games, I will also tell you, if I don't in my pick, who is going to win the game. And yeah, we're currently sitting pretty well on our college football picks coming into the college football, sitting at 33-22 overall. Not unbelievable, but also not shitty, well over 500. So let's just get right into it. And before we get into our picks, I do want to remind you guys, I am not a financial advisor. What that means is I am not liable for any losses, just like I will not come after you for any wins. Do with these picks what you will, and if you find that you have any issues with sports betting and gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER and they will get you the help and the resources you need to get better. So with that, first game of the week, Alabama and Oklahoma at 7 p.m. tomorrow night, Friday the 19th. And the pick I like for this game is Oklahoma to go under 40.5 points. Oklahoma has one of the worst offenses in the nation right now, and Alabama's 2 starting running backs were out for the SEC championship game, and it's uncertain whether they're going to be back in this game as well. On top of that, Ty Simpson and this offense just really haven't been able to find much offense without those running backs in play here. And I just ultimately think both of these offenses are going to struggle against the elite defenses that both of these teams have. So I like the under to hit, and I have actually the Sooners winning this game, moving on to take on the Indiana Hoosiers. Second game of the week, the Miami Hurricanes going to Texas A&M at 11 a.m. on the Saturday the 20th. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I like Miami +3 in this game. Miami definitely has the physicality to put up and play with Texas A&M in this game here. But I just really think Texas A&M, looking at their schedule, had a relatively easy, soft schedule this year, if you will. And why do I bring that up? Because I really think if you look at their record, that makes them look like a better team than they really are. Defense travels, and this Hurricanes team is just superior to Texas A&M's defense. I think Texas A&M's offense is going to have a field day trying to figure that out, and I think that's going to be the difference maker, and I trust Carson back in this situation. So give me Miami +3 on the road. Third game, we got Tulane traveling to Ole Miss, 2:30 on Saturday. And in this one, I like Ole Miss and Tulane to go over 55.5 points here. Ultimately, I got Ole Miss winning this game. Ole Miss's offense has just been very explosive this year, and Tulane has proven to be explosive as well, putting up points behind quarterback Jake Retzlaff. Retzlaff is experienced. He's played in some of these big games, so I think both of these teams will be able to put up points against both of these teams' lackluster defenses, just not being great. So I love the over in this game, but ultimately Ole Miss is the better team, and they should prevail by at least 2 touchdowns. And then last, but certainly not least, I like Oregon to cover their 21.5 point spread over James Madison to take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders next week. I'm going to be honest. Yes, I know this is a big spread. JMU is just flat out just not as skilled as this Oregon team is. And on top of that, you have a great coach in Dan Lanning, who's had nearly a month to prepare for this James Madison offense. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like they're a really bad team because they're in the playoffs for a reason. They're just not as good. They're not as skilled, and it doesn't help that they have to go to Oregon. I think if this was at a neutral site, they still wouldn't win, but they might be able to cover their 21.5 points. Oregon's going to be buzzing. Gene, that whole city is just going to be ready to rock. And I really think they're going to just blow this game out and cover their 21.5 points. So in conclusion, I got the Sooners win. I got the Oklahoma Sooners winning. I got the Miami Hurricanes winning, the Ole Miss Rebels to win, and the Oregon Ducks. And then the picks: Alabama, Oklahoma under 40.5 points, Miami +3, Ole Miss Tulane over 55.5 points, and Oregon minus 21.5 points. So that's what I got for week one of the, actually I lied, week one, or the first round of the college football playoffs. And we will actually be back for it'll be 2 weekends from now for the quarterfinals, between getting to see Texas Tech, Indiana, Georgia, and Ohio State, the 4 teams that had byes, 2 of them being Big Ten teams. So worth noting there. And then just like always, we're repping we're repping one of our favorite Minnesota companies, and just great overall athleisure, great just company in general. UNRL, they have the cool little subtle UNRL right up here. Unreal. Excuse me. They just did the NFL Drop 5, so this is their NFL Drop 4. It's essentially their full impact, full zip, so it goes up and down, all the way up and down. You got 2 zippers on it. On the hood, you got the little Vikes emblem with the 61. The year that the Vikings came into action, the patented UNRL patch on the side. And then on this arm, I don't know how well you can see that, they got the Minnesota going down the arm too. So again, sleek, simple, not overdoing it, really nice, really awesome. It's a little bit more lightweight, so you probably want, in this cold Minnesota weather, you probably want to put a jacket on over it. But I really like it. You could probably even run in it. And overall, really cool fit. This is the first impact full zip I've got from them, and I'm not gonna lie, it makes me kind of want to get another one. Yeah, really like it. Like I said, really simple. A hat, we rocked this hat before. We've had it before. It's their legacy snapback, obviously the khaki color. Really simple, really cool. Once again, they have all like the openings on the back to kind of get some airflow going. I have so many hats, and it's stuff simple like that you just don't realize until you try on other hats, because I have so many other hats that it's just like fully enclosed on the back, and regardless of if it's hot out or cold out, inside or outside, your head just gets so hot from it, and you start almost sweating almost just from nothing. My hat, unless I'm literally golfing in this, just never just sweats just because I got a hat on with these. So super comfortable, love it. So yeah, like I said, unreal, really is simply unreal. Their NFL Volume 5 drop number 5 just dropped this last Tuesday, last one of the year. And then for the Vikings, we have one more drop coming out on the 30th, so 12 days from now, the Hometown Collection, and it'll be their Legacy Edition, and that will be dropping on the 30th. It's insane to think we have come this far. I feel like just yesterday we were geeking out with the potential of 1, 2, like being Vikings fans, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drops. It's crazy to think we only got 1 left. I'm interested to see what they do. If I'm being completely honest, and UNRL, Unreal, if you're listening, I would love to see some kind of like a purple or gold drop for the Legacy Edition. And the only reason I say that is just because this year there's just been a lot more of like the neutral colors. You got the gray with the London edition, the Dublin edition, I think drops 1 and 3. You know, there's been a lot of black, which is always a nice, clean, sleek look. You have that coconut one with the purple on it, but it'd be really cool if the Legacy one was kind of like gave us a little bit more color to work with some purple or some gold on it. But what do I know? So that's what I got for you guys. Lastly, I'll just give you my quick spiel. Unreal, top of the line in athleisure. They have everything from shorts, hats, jackets, a golf attire, sweats. Some of the most comfortable sweats you can buy. I'm not kidding you. I have I gotta find the actual name of it so you guys can buy some yourselves. What is it? I think it's, yeah, High Street Joggers. And I'm not just saying, this might be the most comfortable sweats I have ever owned. I'm getting the pants from them for this volume 5 drop, and I have another pair that I've slept in numerous times. I've worn just around the house. I don't know what else I have to say to just tell you guys. They're literally the most comfiest pants. You can wear them lounging. They a nice size that they're kind of clean. You can wear them out a little bit and just dress them up, dress them down. Like I said, I can't say enough about this company. You guys have to go check them out yourselves, unrl.com. Their website, they're all over social media, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that fun stuff. So go check them out. And also, just like every other week, if you are interested in getting some money off your order, go to the description of this YouTube video. And in the description, I will put a link that if you click on that, you'll get 15 bucks off your first order and start accruing points to put towards other orders in the future. That's what I got for you guys this week on UNRL. Unreal. Once again, I say it all the time, and I will say it until I'm blue in the face. Unreal simply just is unreal. That's kind of like an unofficial, official trademark, trade line that I've come well up with. So if they want to use it, hey, I'm all for it. But yeah, all right. So moving right along. So for professional sports guys, the Minnesota Wild, we have now traded for Quinn Hughes. We traded for Quinn back on, what was that? We played his first game with us was the Boston. I want to say it was the 12th. We traded for him the Friday. And I actually heard Bill Guerin on, I think it's Spit and Chicklets, is a show that Paul Bissonnette, and I think it's Ryan Whitney do. And Biz essentially asked him, when did it come to your mind to trade for Quinn Hughes? And he legit, no joke, said Monday. I called him up. Apparently, Paul Bissonnette used to play for the Penguins for a little bit, and he used to be kind of buddy-buddy with some of the guys in that organization who are now up there. And he called, offered the package, and again, we kind of talked about it in a TikTok video that I did reacting to this trade. The eye test, Marco Rossi, Liam Holmgren, Zeev William, and a first-round pick. The eye test, you're kind of like, shit, like we gave up a lot to get this guy. A lot of people forget he's renowned as like one of the best defenseman in the league, if not the best. At 26 years old, the guy has already been a multiple-time Norris Trophy candidate and has already won it once. The unfortunate part is he's been playing in Vancouver for the last couple of years. And he put a lot of speculation to rest when one of his first days here, he was asked, how open are you to re-signing with the Wild? Now, even if he didn't want to, there's probably no way he would have been like, no, I don't want to re-sign here, whatever. But he offered up, he's extremely willing with the CBA going up he's currently under contract this year and next year. And after that, there's a significant amount of money coming off the books. So I think there's a legitimate chance we could. But if nothing else, if we're not able to make a run that we want to this year or next year by the trade deadline, he's still one of the best players in the league. So if you have to, you can get trade value for him. But honestly, at this point, I really like our chances of extending him. One of the things I just want to highlight for you, just so you guys know just how good this team actually currently is. They're currently on a 6-game win streak that started back on the 8th when they were in Seattle and won 4-1. But on top of that, they've won 16 of their last 20 games, and 18 of those 20 games they've gotten points in. So you have to go all the way back to the end of October, to when we just weren't playing great hockey. The end of October, we lost 5 straight games from the span of October 22nd to the 30th. And we just weren't playing that great of hockey. But we've turned it around, and weirdly enough, we kind of turned it around before we even got Quinn Hughes. And now that we have him, it seems like nothing can really stop us, which is pretty insane. Despite with all of the recent success, we now sit in still third place, but we're only 4 points behind Dallas for the second spot. We got 47, Dallas in the second spot with 51 points, and Colorado was in the first spot with the 55 points. So I think, anybody that says we're not contending this year, yeah, Colorado and Dallas are behemoths, and I think it's fucking ridiculous with how the playoffs are set up that we're going to have to beat both those teams, or a wild card team to move on and go, which is completely stupid and ridiculous. But I think we have just as good of a shot now with a guy like him on the back end with Faber, Brodin, Middleton, Bogosian, Spurgeon. So yeah, I really like this team going forward. I think the one other thing I think we need to do before the trade deadline hits is I think we need to get another center. With getting rid of Rossi, we only have 5 centers on a roster. Joel Eriksson, who is undoubtedly center number 1, but then you got Vinny Hinostroza, Tyler Pitlick, Nico Sturm, and Yakov Trenin. And if I'm being completely honest with you, in the Western Conference, you have centers like Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Macklin Celebrini, Leon Draisaitl, Martin Necas, Connor Bedard, Jack Eichel, Scheifele, just to name a few. So I think getting, at least if nothing else, a solid second line center. A couple names I wrote down that I actually would like to see us go for is one of them is Ryan O'Reilly. Again, he may be a little bit out of our price range, I don't know, but Ryan O'Reilly would be fun to go get, or Nick Schmaltz. Two kind of more veteran type of guys that can definitely play on that second line and can beefing up and play big roles for us. But other than that, staying healthy, continuing to play the way we're playing, and honestly, I think with this Quinn Hughes trade, I think we have just as good a shot as anybody else to win the cup. You still got to win all the games, get good playoff positioning, and then actually get it done in the playoffs. So yeah, that's what we got for the Wild. The Wild this upcoming week will be in action. I will be at one of their games. Anybody is interested or going to this game as well. But before the night of the next podcast, that's right. So we will be in action 3 more times this upcoming week. They got Edmonton at 2 p.m. on Saturday the 20th, Colorado at 5 a.m. on the 21st. I will be at that game. And then on Tuesday, December 23rd, they will be at 7 p.m. versus Nashville before they have a couple of days off for Christmas. I'll remind you guys at the end of the podcast too, but there will be no podcast next week with it being Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Spend the time with your loved ones. We will definitely keep you guys updated with things as they come. You guys know how much I love posting my TikToks and doing all that fun stuff. So we'll definitely have some content for you guys coming up, but no hard episode between now and Christmas. So yeah, and I'll remind you guys that at the end of the podcast as well. So those are the couple times that the Wild are in action between now and next week. And then for the Minnesota Timberwolves, unfortunately we don't have a ton of new news on the Timberwolves, but I think with some of our recent playing, it's really interesting and kind of weird to see, because on one hand, you look at Anthony Edwards was out for, I think, 2 straight games, and the Wolves were able to, win. They were able to win 2 games without Anthony Edwards, but then he was out again tonight, and we lost to Memphis. So Memphis team that didn't even play Ja Morant. So yeah, I mean, you look at this loss that they took to the hands of the Memphis Grizzlies, 110-116. They started Bones Highland. He finished with 12 points on 3 of 11 shooting. Yikes. Other than him, you had Rob Dillingham play for 11 minutes, 5 points on 2 of 5 shooting. So again, I think with some of this recent play from us, we're 17-10 right now. I shouldn't jump all over the place, but it was announced today that Kevin Garnett is reuniting with the Timberwolves organization as an ambassador, helping out with stuff. So cannot wait for that. His long-awaited jersey retirement of number 21 will be happening at some point this season, which is awesome. Cannot wait for that. I really can't wait for them to announce that date, because I want to go to that game. But yeah, currently sitting at 17-10. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I haven't even really looked at the standings. I'm guessing we're probably in that play-in spot right now. No, holy shit. We're still in that 6th spot. 2 games ahead of the Suns, who are in the 7th seed, but are also only, 3.5 games behind the Denver Nuggets for the 2nd seed. So it's a tight race, on top there. And I think just with this recent play, you look at, they had a nice little 5-game winning streak from November 20th, December 8th going. Then they lost one to Phoenix, and then they lost one to Memphis, going 2-2 in their last 2 games. And I think hopefully soon here, you'll see Tim Connolly make a move. And, we've talked about it before. It's the point guard position. Anthony Edwards, for how big of a offensive threat he is, sometimes lacks that true playmaking ability and is more of just like your spot up shooter, which is awesome and great to have. But you need a solid point guard to help generate some of that offense as well. And I'm sorry, Mike Connolly is not the answer. He's too old. He can't play that many minutes. He's lost a step. And it doesn't seem like Dillingham is really taking that next step either. So a couple of names that I like: Colby White. Apparently, Tim Connolly or something is going on where we've inquired on Colby White, but there's a little bit of a holdup because he is currently making like $12.5 million. And he's reportedly wanting a big payday starting next year. We don't really have the money to give him a big payday next year. So we'd want to trade for him, but you don't want to trade for a guy like him and then have him walk next year. But unless they can kind of work something out with that, a couple other names I wrote down that I like: Trae Young and Darius Garland. But those are 2 guys that I would love to get, but only if you don't have to give away too much of your core that you like. But 2 guys that I think are a little bit more realistic that I've looked into: TJ McConnell and Dennis Schroeder. They're both veterans. They're not quite as old as Mike Conley, but they've been around the league for a little bit and can help out Ant and some of these guys a little bit more. But yeah, so those are some of the names that I've heard floated around, some of the names that I like as well. It'll be interesting to see what shakes up. The trade deadline is still over a month and a half away. I believe it's February 5th. But I think at this point, if you're Tim Connolly, you can't afford to wait that long, because at this point, you wait until the 5th, you're looking at, I think, 30 games left. And if you're playing slightly above 50 per 500 basketball, that's not going to cut it for good playoff positioning to try to have a chance to compete with the Thunder for the title this year. So I expect them to make a trade here. If I had to put my money on it, I would say there's a 50-50 chance that it gets done by the end of the year. So within the next, 14, 15 days. But I would anticipate them making a trade within the next, I don't know. The Timberwolves have a game on Tuesday, January 13th. I'm willing to bet something gets done by then. And I think part of it too, they got a gauntlet coming up. They got Oklahoma City tomorrow night. We're live streaming that one, 8:30. Sunday, Milwaukee at 6. Tuesday, New York at 7. And then Thursday on Christmas Day, hopefully Anthony's back for this one, Denver at 9:30 p.m. So these next four games could tell Tim Connolly when he needs to make a move. If they go 1-3 in these next 3 games, or 0-4 in these next 4 games, Tim Connolly might be in a position where he feels like he has to make a move now. But if we're able to stay afloat, go 2-2, 3-1, 4-0, God forbid, he might hold off to make sure he can get who he wants for the value he wants. But I do anticipate, just with how not great our point guards have been playing, I do anticipate him trying to make something happen sooner than later and not waiting till the trade deadline, which is honestly what I want and I think is the smart way to do it. So that's what we got for the Wolves. Now for the Vikings. So guys, yet again, for the second straight week, no, JJ McCarthy didn't look like the second reincarnation of Tom Brady, but he made some bigger steps. I thought the one knock in the game when we beat the Commanders was he didn't use his feet as much, just because that defensive front wasn't great, so he was able to just kind of sit in the pocket. But in the Dallas game, he was able to use his legs a little bit more. He didn't always run. He ran a couple times smartly and effectively, but he was able to buy himself some times, let his guys get open, hit them when they were. He was making smart throws, check down throws. He was making some bomb throws, some long throws, which was awesome. And you're really just seeing him kind of playing carefree, and you're seeing him thriving in this Kevin O'Connell changed up playbook. I think the playbook that he originally had JJ trying to run just didn't suit a young quarterback trying to just get developed and play and get, his rookie season under his belt. But now we're seeing him flourish. And I think, there's lots of things to like, and it makes for good conversation going forward with what we're going to do at the quarterback position right now. And I would say right now, I would put the chances of JJ McCarthy being our starting quarterback week 1 2026 is like 75 to 80%. The only reason it's not higher, it's not like 95%, is because Kevin O'Connell has always kind of had that wandering eye for quarterbacks. So again, if the things are true with Joe Burrow and he wants out, I think you could see the Vikings being one of 3 destinations, and 2, maybe 3, if you're being honest, 2 destinations that not only would Joe Burrow want to go to, but would be good positions for him. And I think you try go for him, and God forbid if something were to happen to JJ in the next couple of weeks, I think if nothing else, you want to try bringing a veteran quarterback to kind of keep mentoring him and keeping him under his wing, even if he keeps progressing the way we want him to. But it's just refreshing to see him doing his thing, getting better week after week. I really anticipate that upcoming here into our week 16 matchup. So yeah, let's just get right into some of our picks for you guys here. So I know that is one of our favorite things for you guys. Excuse me, for our weekly picks, NFL picks. We had a clean sweep last week, our first time since week 9, and honestly only the 1, 2, 3, only the 4th one of the year. Week 1, week 5 we went 4-0. 4-0, and then this last week. So feeling good, and time to go another 3-0 and go to 31-20 for my upset of the week. I like the Chargers plus 2.5 over the Dallas Cowboys. The Chargers are going up and going to face a weak pass defense that they can pick apart with limited pressure for a change on Justin Herbert. I like Los Angeles, that they're just a nasty physical team in this matchup and can lay the wood down more with defense for Jim Harbaugh against this Dallas team. Dallas is on the ropes for staying alive in the playoffs, and I don't like their chances of keeping their season alive. I think I was actually surprised that we beat them last week and they weren't mathematically eliminated, but I like the Chargers as our upset plus 2.5 over the Cowboys this week. My lock, I can't believe I haven't taken them yet because they've had some really good favorable picks or matchups this week, but I like the Eagles plus 6 over the Commanders. The Eagles got their offense and defensive right this last week in their get-well game against the Raiders, and the Commanders' defense struggles in covering wide receivers downfield, power running games, running quarterbacks, tight ends, pretty much everything that Philly can do well at. That's the bad news. Facing the rediscovered completeness of Philadelphia's offense, even at home in Washington, is not great for a team that is shut down playing for a top seed. So give me the Eagles minus 6 for the lock. And then for a Minnesota game, I gotta be honest with how well we've been playing these last 2 weeks. I can't believe the spread is this small, but I'm taking Minnesota plus 3 in this game. We've gotten some much needed positives, like I've mentioned, from JJ McCarthy these past couple weeks. Even though the passing results haven't come from the receivers like Justin Jefferson we'd like to see, it's still getting done. Jackson Dart's getting the go this week, and I think he's going to be up for a good duel. But I think ultimately Jackson Dart, even with Grenard out for the rest of the season, Jackson Dart, between these two young quarterbacks, is easily going up against the tougher of the two defenses. So I like us to cover at least plus minus 3 in this one. So yeah, upset Chargers plus 2.5, Eagles lock minus 6, and then Minnesota Vikings minus 3 in this one. So then for the simple actual game breakdown, week 16 matchup in New York. Again, I think this Giants team at this point is just playing for a top draft pick. They're going to do what they can to, I feel like, to be competitive, but not ruin their chances of a top 5, probably top 3 pick, and be able to take who they want or package it to get more of what they need or want. But the first thing I got for you guys, I got us actually winning this game 33-23. I think JJ McCarthy is going to take another step in the right direction in managing this team, getting up to the line, canning, making audibles, hitting receivers. I think Justin Jefferson at some point has to kind of get going here. 112 is the magic number for JJ to get back to his another 1,000 yard season. And yeah, this is a great game for a lot of this stuff to happen because the Giants defense is not great. So yeah, with that, the bold predictions I got for this week. This last week, our bold predictions, we went another 1 of 1. JJ McCarthy did in fact throw for 2 touchdowns at least. However, both defenses combined for a total of 2 sacks. Both of those came at the hands of our defense and not the Cowboys. So that was fun. Now 6-22 for our in-game predictions. So not great this week, or not great this year. So offensively, I think for the third straight game, JJ McCarthy is going to have a 3-touchdown game in him, whether it's 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns, or a combination of the 2. And on the defensive side of things, I think Flores' defense is going to swarm and make Jackson Dart's life miserable. And I got us picking him off 2 times in this game. So that's what I got. Vikings winning this one 33-23. JJ McCarthy having his 3rd straight 30-touchdown game. And the defense coming alive and picking off Jackson Dart not once, but 2 times. So it should be a fun game to watch. I'm excited, obviously, to watch every single Vikings game I can. So with that, we'll jump into our other bets that we got for you guys this week before I let you go. The first one I like are the Broncos -3. Again, most of the picks that I will give you and it gets a spread are synonymous with my picks that I picked in our mini pick'ems. But I like the Broncos -3. I think the Broncos have been playing some pretty good football, minus a brief hiccup against the Packers. But they should take care of business at home against this Jacksonville team that in late season games can kind of get shaky. The Texans -14.5. They should mow over the Raiders. And with that, I think the Raiders-Texans game will go over 37.5 points. I like the Steelers and Lions game to go under 52.5 points. I think in a game like this where the Lions need the win, the Steelers need the win, both teams will be playing less aggressive. Let's go out and drop 50 points and more methodical. Let's get long sustaining drives. Let's get ahead. Let's do this, playing more methodical instead of more high flying and, hey, let's go out and drop, however many points. Plus, so that's what I got for that one. And then the last one, surprisingly, very similar to that game. I like the Bills and Browns to go under 41.5 points. I think the Bills will still have a big win probably against the Browns. For those that are wondering, that Browns game that was picked for me, I didn't pick them. That was switched for me because I finished last in our pick'ems this last week. But I like the Bills-Browns games to go under 41.5. I think there's still a way, the Bills could come out with like a 28-3 or 28-6 blowout win to try to get a top spot in the playoffs. So that's what I got for you guys. Just like every week, make sure you go subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get notified of the new episode when it comes out, wherever you listen to the podcast audioly as well. And on top of that, go follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X. Reach out to us if you have any questions, topics you want us to address. This podcast is about you guys, the listeners. I love hearing what you guys have to say, criticism or, good things. Give me things to talk about. Ask me questions. I love engaging with you guys. I really love doing it. So I'll leave you with, till next time, Minnie. Let's try that again. Till next time, Minnie.